The Dawn of the Witch Volume Review. Having seemingly stopped publishing Monogatari, Pretty Boy Detective Club, or Zarigoto, things have been quiet on the light novel front for Kodansha. Now the publishers broken their silence and returned to the market with a variety of new light novel releases. First up is Volume 1 of The Dawn of the Witch, which will hopefully set the standard high going forward. The story follows Sybil, who is a student at the Royal Academy of Magic at the Kingdom of Wenas. Sybil has no memories of his life before joining the academy and now finds himself in trouble and he's on the verge of being expelled. Due to the argument assigned upon entering the academy, students who are expelled or leave before graduating, having all their memories of time spent at the academy wiped. Which of course is troubling for someone like Sybil, who knows nothing about his past beforehand, nor who he choose to pursue magic in the first place. Luckily for Sybil, the High Master, called Albus, has a special assignment for him, which involves heading to a small village in the south and helping out the villagers. At the part of the kingdom, anti-witch sentiment is strong, and Albus is hoping that by sending Sybil and some of the other students there, they'll be able to help show people there's nothing to be afraid of when it comes to magic and those who will it. Joining Sybil for the trip are fellow student Hort, who's a star pupil, and Kudo, a beast fallen who looks like a lizard. Are like witches. Beast fallen are also discriminated against, but in this case, it's the other student of the Royal Academy of Magic who bully and distance themselves from Kudo, leading him to represent all the humans around him. Guiding them to the village is Lux Christus, a professor at the academy and powerful witch known as the Dawn Witch, who is taking on the job in exchange for hopefully getting a look at the legendary Grimoire Zero. Together they head south, facing them many a trial as they make their way onward. The majority of this volume revolves around the cast, making their way to the village. Initially, Kudo splits off from Sybil's group in a bid to make his own way, but along the way, he's targeted by a group of witch killers. Once Sybil's party catches up, they about saving Kudo before he meets an ultimate death, and perhaps even prove to Kudo that not all humans are out to harm him. If you watch the anime adaptation of this that aired last year, you can already be aware that The Dawn of the Witch is a sequel to author Kakiro Kobashi's previous series, Grimoire Zero. While the main characters are new to the series, but also see characters from the prequel, given they're said to be recurring in Sybil. Sybil holds some connection to the original cast. It's difficult to recommend this series to newcomers, but have said that apart from the Grimoire Zero anime, which only adapted one volume of the series, there's no way to get the familiarity to idea what to going into the Dawn of the Witch because the prequel series has not been licensed in English, nor does it seem likely, given a wrap up in Japan in 2017. I appreciate it's a difficult circumstance to navigate through since in Japan Grimoire Zero was released under the Dengeki Bunko imprint, which is connected to Kadokawa. Meanwhile, The Dawn of the Witch is released under Kodansha in Japan, as well as here in the West. So without one of the publishing companies putting on Grimoire Zero, there's nothing Kodansha USA could have done to resolve the issue. Kobashir talks in the afterword about having written the series to be accessible to newcomers, and as it admits more characters from the previous work are set to show up in the following volumes. As far as this first book goes, I think it stands in its own feet okay. Sybil and his group are all likable enough characters, and the author does a good job for giving all of them development during their journey. The real world wildcard is Lou, who is somewhat overpowered when looking like a child and speaks in an old English dialect, which can be irritating in the long run. She's got a bit too stereotypical without any of the mystery and suspense such as character will usually hold, but by and large, I like the setting and story the author is trying to tell here. If you went into the blind, you might be a bit confused due to some of the elements clearly explained in the prequel series, but it's not completely inaccessible. And if you enjoyed the anime of this one previously, you certainly enjoy reading the light novel, which is found easier to follow than its animated counterpart. As previously mentioned, The Dawn of the Witch Volume 1 comes to the West thanks to Kodansha, but it has been translated by Alexandria McCollum Garcia. The translation reads well, and an Aldrin complained about the low speech earlier. I don't know how it has been translated into English since it fits her vocabulary in Japanese. This release includes color pages handled by illustrator Takashi Iwasaki, and what it is depicts the main characters, which I always appreciate since it gives the reader a frame of reference of what they should look like. The series doesn't go in Japan with 6 volumes since 2018. Meanwhile, Kodansha has Volume 2 scheduled for English release in March, with number 3 in June and number 4 in September. Given the publisher has gained quite a reputation for dropping light novels, I'm concerned about them not finishing this one either. But at least it looks like we get down most of the currently available material before that happens. I'm especially wary since this has been being released under the vertical imprint according to the credit page, suggesting that it might be an old license. Kodansha also publishing the manga version in English. Overall, The Dawn of the Witch is off to a solid start in Volume 1. Going forward, however, it seems readers would need more knowledge of Grimmer Zero, and it would prove a problem. This is a shame since it's not real fault of the books that the prequel series isn't available in English. One I recommend, provided you're into the franchise but probably worth skipping otherwise, Suddenly, 7 out of 10.